by the United States of America. It's based on ICAO, but it's even more stringent. And we know about that, especially after the events of 9/11, when aspects relating to aviation came under serious scrutiny.
Looking at the revenue, 2011 is 299,741 as compared to 2010 of 137,776, which has indicated a huge increase in our revenue base due to the reinstatement of our tariff and the introduction of the airport levy.
Our responsibility is to express an opinion on these financial statements based on our audit. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing. Those standards require that we comply with ethical requirements, plan and perform the audit to obtain reasonable assurance whether the financial statements are free from material misstatement.
The GCCA is said to have substantially complied with procurement regulations according to the National Procurement Regulatory Body, a situation that received plaudits from lawmakers unlike other public institutions, they said.
The civil aviation was found to be substantially compliant with the GPPA Act 2001 and Regulation 2003.
After carefully listening to the activity reports and financial statements of the GCCA, policymakers soon took turns to raise concerns seeking further explanations of key issues.
If you look at the income statement on page 34, the revenue for that particular year was 299 million. And going down the statement, they end up having a loss of 67,902,000. One would tend to ask questions on how did this come about.
During the presentation of the DG, he reported an 11% decrease of cargo from 1,102.34 tons to 980.36. I am wondering whether, you are able to determine what accounted for the decrease.
I just want to have more information on the modalities of this maintenance work that they do for GCAA registered aircraft.
Subject matter specialists were to some extent perturbed by GCCA's balance sheet as indicated on the report, and also call on them to consider vigorous pursuit of diversifying other facilities in the airport.
The more the people who come to see people at the airport and so forth and stay and spend some money, the greater your chances of revenue. But very often you go and see of somebody, you have not even a chair to sit on. You are standing there all the time, and the faster you can get out, the better for you.
The Director of Finance, Fatou Cisse, earlier responded to the concerns on expenses incurred by GCCA and the lack of equity on the balance sheet. The Director General of the GCCA delved into staff training and the issue of the recent decrease in cargo handling, aircraft maintenance operations, and the lease amendment agreements between his agency and the Ministry of Regional Administration's Lands and Traditional Rulers. He maintains that 2011 has witnessed significant transformation of facilities in the passenger terminal building to world-class standards. The annual activity report and financial statement of GCCA consequently received approval and endorsement of lawmakers. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
The Minister of Justice has presented to the School of Medicine and Allied Sciences of the University of the Gambia a donation of textbooks and journals on general medicine and nursing practice from a Gambian philanthropist based in the UK. Mama J was at the handing over ceremony and she tells us more.
Described the gesture as a gift of knowledge in the practice of medicine and the allied health profession, in particular nursing. These gifts of books came principally in two categories, including those related to the practice of medicine, such as the specialized fields of radiology, surgery, and breast cancer. The Provost, School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences of the University of the Gambia, Dr. Usman Nyan, hailed the gesture, which consists of learning materials related to the practice of nursing and other clinical nursing books of the midwives.
What more can we say? If the legal profession, with its leadership, is here to help us sustain the momentum, because yes, the learned professions were few, and they still are few in the world over. And medicine has always been the twin brother. I think in some ways a bigger brother to the legal profession.
The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Lamin Jabate, commended the donor, one Fatu Job, a native of Bansang in the Central River region based in the UK, who is impressed with the developments in the School of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, hence this philanthropic gesture.
I am proud and I'm pleased that they are here and they have come at no better time than now, since this year has been declared by the President as the Year of Science and Technology. And one of the things he said as late as yesterday was that before you depend on other experts, why don't you train your own? So that when you are in need, they will always be there. You don't have to go outside to hire experts. They will cost you money, they will cost you resources, but when you have your own, you can always utilize them or make good use of them. So I am indeed very, very grateful to Fatu Job. She works at one of the most prestigious hospitals in the United Kingdom. She has a lot of plans, and I hope and pray that these items will be put into better use.
The Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of the Gambia, Dr. Omar Jah, underscored the importance of the donation.
Any school, any university without books cannot function. And I think anybody who helps in any way the university is helping the development of this country, development path of this country. So when you give these books to the university, I think there's nothing as important as that. So we appreciate.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of the Gambia, Professor Muhammaduka, believes knowledge, especially the scientific one, gives us imagination and hope, as well as ensured security of our future as people and country.
I was just looking at one of the recent journals that Mrs. Job just sent, as recent as 7th April 2012. The cover deals with something that I know the Jobans know something about, which is white rice and type 2 diabetes. That's the link. And whenever we say diabetes, it hits home on every Gambian home. There is perhaps very few homes that do not have a family member who is affected by one form of diabetes. It's a terrible disease, and it's a disease taking our young and our elderly. And it was quite touching for me when I went to the students' scientific workshop a few days ago and realized that some of our students who are in this medical school pursuing a medical degree have begun to investigate the causes and coming up with ideas to ensure that this disease no more challenges our population.
Official noted that scientific and technological books and other learning materials are expensive, and to subscribe to some of these journals will cost quite a lot of fortune. The presentation of this donation, therefore, will go a long way in keeping our researchers abreast with the latest and most up-to-date knowledge in some of the areas they want to research on, in an effort to address the very essential ailments confronting our population. Mama J, Grts.
Well, from that, we're going to take a very short break. The news continues in just a moment.
Service at the lowest price ever.
3G AfriCell brings you the most affordable 3G internet bundles ever.
Get your AfriCell Extreme 3G internet service for as low as $15 is only.
AfriCell 3G bundles starting from 50 megabytes up to 12 gigabytes.
12 gigabytes bundle for a tariff as low as 5 buttons per megabyte.
And all bundles are valid for 30 days.
AfriCell Extreme 3G service for as low as $15.
To subscribe, please dial 120 and choose from the available 3G bundles.
For more info, call 113.
AfriCell Extreme 3G service.
For as low as 5 buttons per megabyte, stay connected to AfriCell's 3G network.
AfriCell.
When we say Extreme 3G,
it is truly extreme.
Welcome back to GRTS News. Rwanda's High Court has sentenced prominent opposition figure Victoire Ingabire